Good evening, barflies and lounge lizards, and on tonight's video we have a haul video requested by Mr. J Super Awesome. And the first half of it's gonna be movies I've picked up recently, and the second half will be the comics I've picked up recently, all Cavewoman. So if you're here for the comics, jump to the timestamp below. But the first part of the haul I wanted to show off was I actually finally took advantage of one of the full moon sales. And Full Moon Direct was having an amazing sale for Valentine's Day, and nearly everything on the site was 50% off. So I went ahead and grabbed some stuff. And the first thing I grabbed, wanted to go ahead and upgrade to the Blu-ray of Slave Girls from Beyond Infinity. A wonderful, sleazy little sci-fi classic which I've actually covered on this very channel, and I figured it was time to get it on Blu-ray. And if you haven't seen that video, you should watch that immediately after you finish this. The next thing I grabbed from the Full Moon Direct sale is Sorority Babes in the Slime Ball bowl-o-rama on Blu-ray, and this is definitely another upgrade and a double dip for me. You know, this is one of my all-time favorite movies, and I've covered it on the channel as well. Probably not multiple times, but at least in my top B movies list. But this is one that I saw as a kid on USA Up All Night and just absolutely loved it. Yeah, this one is highly recommended. And really, if you just want the feel of that late 80s, early 90s B movie, late night TV kind of vibe, this is just the perfect movie that sums it up. And I also picked up one other thing in the Full Moon sale, and that is the Sorority Babes in the Slime Bowl bowl-o-rama comic book one-shot. Now, I actually just got this one for the Dan Mendoza cover because I really like his art style, but I was quite surprised to find that the interior art is quite good as well, and the story was a lot of fun. I mean, I don't know why I doubted it, but either way, yeah, I was just all around pleased with this, especially for the $1.50 price tag during the sale. But yeah, it's a lot of fun, and it just kind of picks up almost immediately after the first movie and well before the sequel movie. Yeah, a lot of fun. I'm going to have to get some more of the Deadly 10 comic book series from Full Moon. And then just from random movie buying, I picked up, finally, Dark City, which is one I actually saw when it first hit video, but for whatever reason it just didn't really stick in my brain, even though I'm sure I enjoyed it. But Mr. Tony Santiago has been very gently threatening me into watching this again, and I did, and boy was I not sorry that I picked this one up. Fantastic, and you will very definitely, possibly, probably gonna be hearing more about this on the channel in the months to come. And the last movie I grabbed, a classic, Clockwork Orange. I figured I was just long overdue to own this one, which is weird because it's been one of my favorite movies since I was a teenager, but I've just surprisingly never owned it. And just one of those cases, I think just because I would just always catch it on TV, and it's one of those things, oh, well, I'll pick it up one of these days, and I never did until now. And it holds up very, very well. And it was nice to see the very, very nice Blu-ray quality also. And now for the comic portion of the video. Even though I guess there was technically a comic in the first part of the video, so don't I look foolish. But what this is, and what I've been collecting up lately, is the Cavewoman comic by Bud Root and more recently Mr. Devin Massey. Now, Cavewoman is essentially, imagine if Fred Olen Ray directed Jurassic Park. Even though I guess he kind of did with Dinosaur Island. But either way, it's you get what I'm saying. It's that kind of vibe. And it tells the story of an enhanced, busty young lady who battles dinosaurs and defends a time-displaced city in prehistoric times. And that's really all I have to say. Miriam, she just gets into some situations. Now, I actually have the first several series by Bud Root himself, and I quite enjoyed them, and the art is fantastic. Bud Root is absolutely one of my favorite artists. But with those first couple series, I kind of felt, I was like, well, you know, I think I'm good for now. I think I'm pretty happy with what I've got, and I'll just kind of chill out on collecting for a while. But then I saw that this was coming out, and it was just this awesome Devin Massey cover. And let me tell you this, that Devin Massey, he's no slouch himself. fantastic artist as well. But I saw this cover with Miriam. It's a variant cover with Frankenstein. I was like, oh, I gotta get that. That's just too cool. And so I ordered it and I read it, and I was just blown away by how far the story had evolved in these years. I mean, they have amped the sleaze factor up by probably 10. The wackiness factor has been amped up. I mean, now you have Miriam fighting aliens and beings from different dimensions and going to Wild West type areas in the ancient past. I mean, it is just all kinds of me friendly. And I will say that even though it is sleaze-tastic to the next degree, and Miriam is probably clothed less than she is, it's not, let's say, X-rated. It's just a good, fun R rating. And it's pretty lighthearted, like I said, and just a fun series. But yeah, so that's the variant cover. That's where I started. And that began the snowball of collecting Cavewoman again. So now I'll just show off some of the other ones, because I've kind of been going forward a little bit and going back a little bit and just kind of collecting the little issues that covers caught my fancy. And it's interesting the way it works. They're not really numbered anymore, unless it's like a two-parter. Now they're just more or less one-shots. Some connected, some not. And this one, Cavewoman Outlaw, is basically a spaghetti western take on the Cavewoman character. And she goes to a Wild West type town and wears kind of the Miriam with no name outfit and rides a velociraptor and does what Miriam does. And we have Cavewoman Badlands, which I forget which came first. It was either went this one into this one or this one into this one, something like that. But yeah, so Miriam just gets herself into more trouble fighting this kind of thing. And we have a wizard, a sorceress, and Miriam. And this one was particularly good because it's like a straight up sword and sorcery Conan-esque story with her kind of battling Conan-esque warriors and stuff. Very cool. And did I mention very nakedy? And this one's interesting too, because as I said, I mean, the story has just really gotten where it's all over the place in a wonderful way. It really keeps the whole concept fresh. But with this one, Markham's Mansion, basically she has to sneak into a mansion that has all kinds of booby traps, pardon the pun, and just the hijinks she gets into. Yeah, it's a lot of fun as well. And again, just such great artwork from Mr. Massey. At least I assume that's how you pronounce his name. And now we have Cavewoman Pandemonium, which basically a dinosaur interrupts a bikini contest. So if they didn't just snatch that straight from my brain, I don't know what they did. Then we have Cavewoman Target Anka, and this is kind of one of her recurring big bads of the series, and interdimensional. I assume I haven't gotten to her first appearance yet. I think she's interdimensional. She's something or another. It just kind of constantly gets in Miriam's way. And then we have another picture of Anka in Return to Daniken, which I actually don't remember what this one was about. I read them so close together, they're blurring together a little bit. And now my most recent acquisitions from my most recent order is a Barbarian, a Princess, and Miriam. And it's more kind of just awesome sword and sorcery. You know how I often talk about just my love of that old school black and white fantasy artwork from like the 70s and early 80s. That's exactly what this feels like. And I guess I forgot to mention, should have mentioned, these are all black and white, these comics. And that's just another selling point for me because I just love the black and white, and especially with that style. I mean, if these weren't so, as I mentioned, nakedy, that's for you, Tony, I probably would have opened up and let you see inside, but I actually don't think I can. You know, when I'm finished showing off the covers, I'll try to see if I can't show a little something for you. And finally, we have Movie Mayhem, which, funnily enough, in the first one I showed off with the Frankenstein on the cover, I don't think he's actually in that one. It's just a cool cover. Whereas this one where they're going to a movie theme party, there is actually a Frankenstein guy in it. And this is Miriam's sidekick Carrie, who owns a video store. I mean, if that tells you again, if the kind of demographic that this book is appealing to. So if you like early 90s and late 80s B-movies and video stores and cave women and dinosaurs and nakediness, this is definitely a book for you. And if you're interested in checking these out, I could definitely give some recommendations of where to start, or if you just want to start from the beginning, I recommend this one right here. And this is Cavewoman Reloaded, which is basically the very original first series kind of remastered or so. Okay, I looked and found something I could actually show on the video, but yeah, this is just a 2-page spread of Miriam fighting that Frankenstein guy from the movie Mayhem issue. And you can see it's just wonderfully done, black and white, great line art. Yeah, highly recommended. Hey, if you like that sort of thing. Which, watching this channel, I'd say probably about 50% of you do, because I've been getting a lot of requests lately to kind of bring the sleaze back to the channel. People have been just complaining there's not enough sleaze on the channel lately. So here you are. And that's all the time we have for this week. Please like, comment, subscribe, and check out all this stuff I've displayed tonight, that I've showcased tonight, and keep it wacky.
Wow.
And I also picked up one other thing in the... Oh!